Everyone has an ability to be an activist as long as you believe in it and as long as you're patient.
How do I march together?
We feed about 1,000 homeless people every last Sunday of the month.
In January 2017, I was thinking about Inauguration Day. It was going to be a photo that showed that we were going to stand together no matter what was to come in these 4 years, no matter what's to come.
I am an activist for multiple sclerosis survivors that look like me.
We go room to room, myself and a musician, and we play music for the patients.
Just have candid conversations about adulthood, but then also try to break the boundaries that have been built up by the stigma the social stigmas that are associated with mental illness.
I am changing the perceptions of Middle Eastern women in business, in entrepreneurship, and around the world.
And I asked them if anyone knew of Egyptian refugees in Hong Kong who needed help in any way, shape, or form. So I actually started off by babysitting the kids while the parents were in college learning English.
I teach young people in primary and secondary schools why not to carry knives.
I remembered Googling gorilla.com to find, underground videos of how cows were getting slaughtered or pumped with RBGH and growth hormones, and a lot of truth in what was going on that the government was really good at hiding.
I try to volunteer at minimum once or twice a month, sometimes more when time permits, and it's just being consistent, being available when there's a need. There's definitely been some divine moments, when you see a patient who's been completely unresponsive all day and then they hear music and then you can see them moving. Like, it's insane. It's giving me goosebumps right now.
Walking into a room and just asking people how you can help. All you need to do is reach out into your community and your friends, or even post a question on the internet to find out how you can help, because people will answer, because people do need help.
We're still grappling with trying to understand that mental illness is a physical illness and not a figment of the sufferer's imagination.
What we quickly realized was actually there's a much wider spread misconception around women in general, and specifically women in the Middle East. Women here are inspiring and are hardworking and are thriving and changing the world. And it's just not a story that's being told. So we decided to tell it.
After 1 year, we've produced 30 shoots worldwide. All these young women, primarily women of color, girls of color, who are just coming together, and they feel so supported. The conversation between men and women and how we can help each other is a deep one, and it's a long conversation, and it's complex. Activism really means using every part of yourself in order to create impact and change. And using all of yourself does mean getting up. It is so much hard work, and anyone that tells you it's not is lying. But it's been the most rewarding work that I've ever done.
I got diagnosed when I was just 25 years old. I was trying to find myself in the mix of all this information about this illness, and I just could not find myself, meaning I couldn't identify. I was looking for other Black women that had MS, and I could not find them. If someone was going to tell this story, if someone was going to put a face to Black girls with MS, it was going to be me. So I kind of just, listening to Nas one day, and I was like, oh, Illmatic. Oh, Illmatic. Like, Illmatic could also mean like actually sick, but empowered. I reached out to Nas's team. They were very supportive of me borrowing the name, and bam, I took it from there, and it's just been so good, and people have been receiving it very positively.
Put down all of my ego and all of my self-consciousness to really just put myself out there and decide right then and there that I wanted to do something that was meaningful and that could create change.
We assemble the lunches. We try to keep them as healthy as possible. It started with a hashtag. It started with people just talking about it, and the word of mouth made it grow to over 127 cities now.
Activism is to be an artist, is to create work that is meaningful, that is intentional, that is purposeful. It is to be my whole and authentic self in an industry that rewards fakeness and stories that aren't true and empty lyrics and basicness.
Social injustice has been happening all the time, ever since I was really young. The first thing I can really remember was Amadou Diallo. That was really intense because I could tell by the context of the news and the conversations that were happening around me. It was racially spurred. This young man is dead because of the color of his skin, and that was like, I guess, my first taste of it. November, actually. It was November like 20th, 23rd, because it was almost Thanksgiving, and I was sitting at home watching the news and waiting for the verdict for the Mike Brown case from Ferguson. And I remember just like waiting to hear, like, is this cop gonna get indicted? Like, something's gotta give, because obviously nothing has ever been given in any of these cases. I think it was ABC, or no, it was CNN. We got the verdict from. That he wasn't indicted, and I just felt like that, like, ooh, that like pain in my chest. That like, what the fuck? Like that could be my little brother. I had no phone. I had literally a penny, maybe, or 69 cents to my name and my account. And we just had 2.5 weeks to make it happen. In New York City, you need more than 2.5 weeks. You need a permit, you need signatures to do anything of that mass. We didn't have any of that. We pretty much had a Facebook event. We all came out against police brutality, against people and a society that allows the taking of another's life, especially a child's life, especially someone's life, based on anything that's different or that's other than you. It's crazy. Like, we all came together because like we can't tolerate that.
Unfortunately, when I was 16, a friend of mine was stabbed and died. And since then, I've wanted to also make sure that young people had a voice, that young people were still spoken about in the media and weren't classed as statistics. Knife crime is seen as gender specific and race specific. And what we don't realise is that we all need to work together to tackle the issue, because these are children that are dying, and it's up to us as adults to help them. And what we're trying to do is show them how much they need to love themselves and what amazing attributes they have, and how they can use their mouth, or how they can use their art skills, or how they can use different skills that they currently possess to change the world. We have created a teacher's resource pack that teaches teachers how to talk to young people about knife crime and gang culture. What we have in the UK at the moment is a rise in knife crime that has risen, and it dropped in 2007 when Lives Not Knives first started, and has risen and surpassed where it was in 2007. I've got a voice, and I'm very comfortable using my voice to change something.
Everyone has an ability to be an activist, as long as you believe in it and as long as you're patient.
I think the statistic is that we're on our phones for an average of 6 hours a day. You don't have to give money, you don't have to give anything but your time to give back.
What are you interested in? What are you passionate about? What do you think you can do in order to give back? And what would you enjoy doing? And just try to do it.
Find what sparks that motivation, dive into it, and please make sure that it's doing good for everyone.